So the native landscape has been one of the fastest growing landscapes in the last 10 years. And initially, definitely what we were seeing is a massive growth in all the markets. Today, we are seeing not only in terms of growing the business, but also reaching out to a lot of platforms in the business in India. A lot of platforms like Daily Hunt, Truecaller are integrated on our platform, and that's what we keep seeing, that it's not only the traditional publishers but also the platforms that we keep seeing growth in the Indian market. One of the things that we did research on is that Huffington Post came up with this is by 2025 we see native will reach a tipping point and be the preferred form of most advertising. It's not a surprise because we have personally seen that growth for the last 14, 15 years, coming into all the markets and expanding our reach into the APAC region and the Indian market. But what makes us think is, why is that happening? Because definitely as a company, we believe that we'll keep the user first in terms of the choices that they make while they click on the right content. And we give them the right choices based on our algorithms, so that they are able to click on the right product they want to kind of be on and discover the right things that they want to discover at that point in time. What leads to this? One of the things we are seeing due to the models of Netflix, Amazon Prime coming in is that the power is going back to the user, and the user chooses to pay for a certain model. It might be a Netflix subscription or an Amazon subscription. So the power is going back to the user, and user wants choice, right? And that's where we are. And how do we give that choice? Is a mix of better advertising, better technology, and respecting the user journey. When we say better advertising, it is the format of advertising that we are talking about. The format is native, and the native format is something which doesn't hinder the user experience while they are going through an article or they are building on an article. So that's the format that we generally talk about. Better technology is a very complex system of algorithms that we use to kind of show the right and relevant advertising to the user, right? And in the entire journey, what we forget most of the times is that the user should be respected for the choices that they are making. And that's where Outbrain currently focuses on. Most of the things that we see, and I'll take you through other slides as well, is that what the users have started doing is they have started installing ad blockers. And the highest we are seeing right now is, APAC is at 40%. And that's a huge number that the entire journey of the user is facing a challenge on. Because of the banner blindedness that they have seen over the last 10 years, we are seeing the users facing a challenge in terms of understanding whether this is exactly what I want to do on this website, or is it something that I was just here to read an article and someone's interrupting my experience with advertising. So that's what we are looking at. And one of the things a lot of premium ad blockers have done is they have whitelisted Outbrain as a platform which doesn't get blocked because of the format of ads that we show, and we do not try to disrupt the user journey in the entire flow. Right. So, and that's what we are seeing. So this is like 95% of people dislike an ad which interrupts or disrupts an online experience, and 66% ignore an ad when it interrupts their online experience. Let me just give you an example. I have a 4-year-old daughter, and whenever she sees YouTube, she doesn't understand what she's trying to skip, but she, in a certain format, knows that is disrupting her experience of watching a content, right? And even a 4-year-old or even a 2-year-old today knows how to skip an ad, right? So that is what we are talking about, where if a content is interrupting an online experience of a user, they generally do not like it, and they generally do not want to be interrupted, right? And especially in today's times where people are 100% online, they want their experiences to be much better than what they were previously, and that's what users are looking for. Right. Consumers just hate it. And this is an example of, a banner ad which disrupts the entire screen of a mobile phone, which, user doesn't like. And one of the options they look out for is the cross button right on the top, right? And they immediately go out and click on that cross button. So that kind of experience is something user do not want. And that is something, most of the banner blindedness has come from. we have seen the CTR, the click-through rate metric, drop on Google to around 0.1%, and currently at Outbrain, what we see is around 2.5% on our publisher sites. So, I mean, respecting the user pays off, and the critical metric that is, CTR has kind of helped us grow the business multiple X due to this. One of the things what happened is, Google was initiated the search business. It was started pretty early, around 2 decades back, and that started growing as a search marketing. So they were pioneers of search marketing. Google started social around a decade back, and that was definitely pioneers of social marketing. We never knew that socially we'll be doing advertising, socially we'll be meeting friends, or digitally we'll be meeting friends. And today, Outbrain is laying the foundation where we have already, we are already live with most publishers like CNN. In Singapore, we are live with SPH. In India, we have publishers like Network 18, India.com. So who have kind of, gone live with us and, going through this experience, right? So, I mean, let me just take you through the publisher list. I mean, this is broadly what are our top publishers, and definitely in most of the other markets, we have quite a bit. So in India, we have One India, Rediff, Network 18, MSN, all these publishers, helping us build our business on a local model as well. So that's what we are looking for. There are different formats to native right now. There is text plus image and a high impact format. There is video scroll to watch that we generally look at. There is carousel and video click to watch format that we are looking for. What all these formats are doing right now is that it is leading to a lot of growth in native, because initially publishers were not able to kind of do these formats on their websites. But now via platforms like Outbrain, we enable these publishers to take these kind of advertisements and build demand for them in the entire ecosystem. So on one side we have publishers, and on the other side of the ecosystem, we have our advertisers who want to bid on those publishers. We do see the native ecosystem growing at a very fast pace. Even in the times of COVID, we are seeing a lot of growth happening in this ecosystem. So from 2020 to 2025, a lot of markets, even APAC is going to show a fastest growth in native. Definitely what happens is there are certain markets which are growing very fast, and there are certain markets which are growing slower. And then there are certain people in the space where, like India is a very fragmented market, right? So the differentiation comes with there, where, there are multiple players in the same market and the markets get fragmented. But APAC is going to show one of the fastest growth on native in the coming year and in the coming 5 years. So why is the native revolution happening? Why is suddenly native being the preferred form of advertising for everyone? I mean, definitely it simply works better because of the user experience that we try to engage with. One of the metrics that most of our advertisers look at is time spent per page view, right? This is where native comes in, where you allow user firstly to discover the content by their own. So once they click on it, the time spent on that particular page is much higher than any other form of advertising. Why? Because the user has been given choice and they choose to click on that particular content, and then they come on that particular page, right? So the time spent per page is very high for a lot of users. Other factor that we have observed is that the page views per session or bounce rate. So with native discovery, we have seen the bounce rate to be the lowest. Again, one of the factors which comes into play is the form of publishers that you're using. Definitely, there are a lot of publishers that we keep seeing which are very premium, which have even lower bounce rates than these. And there's other category of publishers which are like platforms, which have a slightly higher bounce rate. But on an average, we do see that native is at around 61% bounce rate. We do see social at 82%, which is the highest. And search, because it's an intent-based buy, generally the bounce rates are around the range of 65%. Because user is coming onto the search platform and they are constantly, re-engaging with whatever they want to search for during that point in time. Native is certainly something which is very misunderstood. We have seen a lot of queries coming in from advertisers where they keep asking us a lot of questions about the challenges they face with native. And also we do see a lot of advertisers who are asking us what formats can be used with native. Now there are multiple ways that one of the biggest ways that we can use native right now is how do we scale native, right? That's one of the challenges that advertisers face today. So Outbrain did get a company called Zementa, and Zementa is a native DSP. Zementa today is integrated with, more than 70 to 80 native players. It gives you a single dashboard reach across all the platforms which are integrated into Zementa. So you do not need to go to like 10 different platforms, but you can just log into Zementa and get access to all these platforms. And in India, there are even more platforms. Like as I mentioned, we have Daily Hunt, we have Columbia, we have Truecaller, who are kind of integrated into this with a total reach of 8.5 billion impressions per day. So that's something which we are currently focusing on, is that how do we scale the advertisers, and rather than them going to 10 different native players, they use this single dashboard and kind of scale on that. And what we are looking at as an opportunity too is repurposing your social campaigns. Right? Many times advertisers do feel that I do not want to create a separate creative for native, so that becomes a challenge for them most of the times. One of the things we have started recommending advertisers is repurposing their current social campaigns to native. Here we show you an example of American Express. American Express is a consistent advertisers who do sell performance campaigns via credit cards. And that's where we do see an opportunity that these kind of advertisers can utilize native. We also launched a feature called app download and call to action on our platform. So call to action can enable you directly having a lead form right on our widget, the space that you see. And the app download button can give you a button which is app download right on the widget itself of Outbrain widget. So from there, you can just click on the link and directly go to Play Store and your app gets downloaded. So these features are something which is enabling a lot of advertisers to start, scaling their campaigns with native. And that's where we see a lot of growth coming in from the performance segment. And especially during the times of COVID, a lot of advertisers today are having conversations where how do I get my ROI for the limited budget that I have? So that's where these features kind of come in and do help the advertisers in the current features only, or in the current set, how do you increase your conversion rates? So that's the opportunity that we see. Native engages with the customer. Much higher than what social or display formats do have. It is simply easy to understand. As Aaron mentioned, he has seen it on different sites. Initially, we did not notice, but that's what it's trustworthy because it's not interfering into your experience. It inspires future purchase because if a user trusts a click and a brand, then the future purchase of that particular brand goes up very high, right? Likely talk may feel positive about the brand, and because the interference is not there at all. One of the things that we have done is we have launched a patented technology called click to watch. The click to watch technology gives you an option to click on the ad and then only the video starts. So that's what we are looking at. And even when we see the halo effect, the trust and the number of clicks for future purchases are much higher than we see on any other platform versus especially social. Even the sales effect for different categories is something we have measured over a period of time. Finance definitely tends to perform very well because of the nature of the publishers and the premiumness that we have on our platform. Travel category is one of the best categories which performs. Sports goods, toy kids wear, home lifestyle, all these categories are really picking up on the native ecosystem. So that's what we are seeing is something which is building up. And how can you grow your business on native advertising? As I mentioned, what we focus on is building great tech for our publishers to enable them to scale Outbrain solutions, right? So these are the basic targeting options which are there. Apart from this, as I mentioned, we have multiple new features that we are launching right now. You can target geo and zip codes. You can device target. You can target operating system and browsers, custom audiences. You can server to server track how your conversions are happening. Then lookalike audiences, which is very similar to how you do custom audiences. That's an option. Story sequencing. So many times brands want to tell their stories in the form of a sequence. So Ford did this campaign with us, where the first was that a new launch is happening. The second story on the same users was that why don't you come and do a test drive? The third story on the same set of users was this is a coupon for you if you buy your car in the next 1 month. Right, this is the kind of discount or offers that we have for you. So to the same set of users, there were three different messaging being given in a month's time, where the users were enticed to come do a test drive, come and do a purchase. So this is something which is very interesting. Third party targeting, where we are enabled with a lot of platforms like Lotome, BlueKai, and Edo, and we are seeing this third party tracking really working well, especially I would say for B2B clients, where Microsoft and we also see Accenture using it, right? So all these clients are something which are working consistently with us. Interest targeting. So like you have seen our widgets on a lot of publishers, because we are placed right at the bottom of the publishing website, we do tend to see that what user is reading. We do tend to understand what keywords they are reading right now. So, whether supposedly in India, they are on a money control website, which is a finance website, right? So we do tend to understand that finance is something that the user is very interested in, and that's what they are looking to target. And we allow advertisers to target by categories like finance, lifestyle for every user. So that's something which is kind of helping all our advertisers. So that's something, a lot of targeting options are something which we are building over a period of time. What's next for native and what are our top priorities? The biggest thing that we do see is that programmatic native is going to be really big. One of the things that we have done is we have also integrated with DV360 via BidSwitch, and we also have our own native DSP called Zementa. So today, advertisers want to scale their campaigns and diversify their budgets from the duopoly, Google and Facebook. So one of the preferred platforms definitely is Outbrain, and they look at moving their budgets to Outbrain during these times, because definitely diversification is one of the things. Performance tools are something which we are looking at in a very big way, and programmatic is something which is driving efficiencies into the entire ecosystem. Right, 87.7% of digital advertising will be purchased programmatically in 2020, and that's where the entire world is right now moving. And especially with COVID, the percentage is growing even higher. Right, these are ballpark programmatic spends for 2019, which happened. Right, so you see different countries, like Canada, US, and everywhere the share of programmatic spends is growing up. Right, different countries have different platforms which has a larger share. Somewhere it's DV360, somewhere Appnex is, somewhere we have Zementa, who's kind of very dominant for native. Right, so these spends are going to grow consistently as we see the wave shifting towards more efficiencies coming into the system. More and more advertisers want to kind of map all the users coming out of all the platforms to one single dashboard. So that is where we are trying to enable the advertiser with buying Outbrain programmatically via different platforms, and definitely via our Zementa platform, right? So with programmatic, we do see scale, which is efficient and effective at the same time, right? So that's where advertisers get an opportunity to kind of scale their business consistently. Native video, it's definitely not a surprise, because video is something which is growing very, very fast, especially in India. After Geo came in, and we saw the network in India expanding into the rural markets, especially during these times, the video consumption has gone really high. Cisco estimating that by 2021, 80% of worldwide internet traffic will be strictly video content, and that's where the video opportunity is pretty big for native today. And that's where even we have launched a click-to-play offering to even autoplay, right? So from banner blindedness, the user today, on platforms like YouTube, completely moved to video blindedness, right? Where, as I mentioned, the example where even a child knows what is an ad, so you can easily skip an ad. So I think that phenomena is very true for video as well, which we saw on banners, and that eventually will lead to CTRs dropping and users kind of skipping the ad as they see it, right? The research shows that non-skippable video formats are the most hated form of advertising. In general, people hate feeling forced to see an ad, right? The example that I gave previously, whether you're a child, whether you're adult, you don't want to be forced to see any ad which is interrupting your content, right? And which is the exact reason which we launched Click to Watch offering, right? What native formats believe in is authentic story selling with success, right? I'll give you a very clear example about Skoda. Skoda is one of the clients, who did a campaign with us. Now it was a 5-minute long video, right? It was almost a content of auto car review that they did, and they did the entire campaign with us on Click to Watch. The kind of users who kind of clicked on it, and they loved the entire experience of the conversions which were happening. They had a good click to play conversion and click to watch conversion as well. So that's what storytelling is all about. That you get the right opportunity to showcase your content. We do believe that you can upload up to 5 minutes of your videos, not 15-second or 30-second. So we give advertisers the opportunity to upload the long format videos as well, right? So that you can convey your message. Native audio is something which is definitely everyone is focusing on today. Everyone is trying to get onto the podcast wave. Every publisher is trying it out today. But I mean, definitely advertising has not caught up with it yet. But we are seeing native audio to be one of the biggest growth drivers, right? So for the first time, marketers do not have any choice but to consider the audio characteristics of a brand, right? So especially when after Alexa has come in, and the search voice search is kind of growing very, very fast in India, right? So these kind of trends are building up over a period of time, right? These are some data points that digital audio listeners, I mean, in different age groups, right? Definitely, I mean, the youth is adopting much faster than, the adults. But we do see those trends happening very fast. One of the things I do see very regularly in my friends circle, especially the younger generation, is that they use voice WhatsApp, right? Which generally, is not something that I'm used to. So that's something those guys currently constantly use. And what we are seeing is that different brands are adopting different voiceovers, and we see requests of voiceovers coming in. The editorial cards, there's contextual cards which are coming in from Outbrain. There is organic arousal, there's podcast cards, right? So this is something which we are focusing on. So these are the few trends that we see. Again, as I said, Outbrain is beautifully placed between the publisher and the marketer, right? Where we try to support quality journalism, right? And help publisher with organic widgets so that they can retain their own users as well. So that is something as a company we keep focusing on to help the publisher ecosystem in the open web economy. The marketer not only gets, native experience to the user, but also scale. And with Zementa, we have brought in the efficiencies for all our advertisers. One of the key features of these platforms is, smart bid option, where supposedly you're bidding at say 3 cents or 4 cents USD. Algorithm sees that the supply right now is available on one side. The smart bid option will automatically reduce your bid, and you will be invoiced at 1 cent rather than 3 cents. So these are a few examples that or features of Zementa that are really interesting for the advertisers. So that's what we keep focusing on as a company, scale programmatic business. So one of the things our CEO definitely mentioned is that in the next 5 to 10 years, we will see the most successful media with those that respected their users and offered trustworthy material. So that's what we believe in as a company. We believe in respecting the user journey, and that's what we are focusing on. So yeah, we are pretty much done with the slides, and we are happy to open up for questions. So would request you to post any questions that you have. Okay. So thank you, everyone. I think it was a really interesting session. Again, one of the first online sessions that I personally had in a conference. So thanks a lot for your time. Thanks, Aaron.